I don't want to participate in any type of war. I don't understand why men and women want war and they still want to hook up. It's kind of weird. Because so often I've seen that there's programming and conditioning going on that does not represent the man being lifted up. It's more so tearing down. And women, we don't even realize that the conditioning is going on. Is honesty a disadvantage in this space? Because that's how I'm coming. I'm coming as with honesty. It makes no sense for us to bring the woman up, and then there's still women out here that are dogging and belittling our men. So we got to get the message that we got to come up together because we're for each other. Y'all do understand that, don't you? I'm trying to share with these women how to be better women, how to prepare themselves to be wives. I'm giving them what I call tools in order to walk out there daily. She don't advocate for us. No, that's not true. I very much do. I want you to have all the information and a good woman. All the information and a good woman, because I want you all men to be leaders.
Do you think most women can really deal with what it comes with a man that truly is having the trajectory of like a high level success? What's your thoughts on that, SB?
For me, I build with my husband. I think my husband is very successful now, but we build together. Going in the front door, we build together. And I still think that's the way to do it. Mm-hmm. To me, that's an actual ultimate test. You have a woman, this is a little bit off, but if you have a woman and y'all having a conversation and you're thinking about being married, ask that woman, are you interested in having one pot? Mm. Would you put all your money in one pot with me? Is this something we can do? And that right there, that'll answer all your questions. Yep. You know, that'll give you, does she trust you? Does she like you? Is she willing to build with you? That answers the total question right there. Mm-hmm. But I just think I think we all need to be reminded of what marriage is. Mm-hmm. So even if that man is super successful and is on that journey, has not achieved it yet, once he alters that journey and decides he wants a wife, which some of them do, because a lot of them say, hey, look, I got to get her now, because when I get successful, I'm not going to be able to trust anybody. I ain't going to know what she wants. Yeah. They need to figure out how to incorporate that woman into that plan that they had for themselves before. And it is always a way, because she is your wife. You all should be on one accord and have that same plan. You have to figure out how to put her in there. Right. So it can work, but she still has to know how to play that role, but you have to be the one to give it to her. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, y'all. It's me, SB.
Dearly beloved.
Y'all know what time it is. It's 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's on a Thursday night. Me and Mr. Boss Betty here on time. Y'all, we doing this thing. Yes. How y'all doing today? I am so glad to be here with you all. Y'all know I enjoy just talking to you guys. And listen, y'all could have been anywhere else, but y'all are making y'all way into my live here. We also have our family over there on Instagram. We're going live with them tonight also. And I just thank y'all for the support. Yeah, we can just have a conversation because tonight we're going to have a conversation. Mr. Boss is going to drop the link rather early because I'm going to need to talk to some men. I'm going to need to figure out, who they are and what it is that they really, really want. Because, I'm having these conversations sometime. You know what? I ain't going to get into it yet. But tonight, the topic is men. What is it? Men want modern women to be traditional. Now, one would ask yourself, why don't you just get you a traditional woman and just, let that be enough? But hey, I need them to answer the questions for me. I just can't assume. So we're going to have a conversation with the men and my ladies, but we're going to just get into it in just a little bit. Before we get started, though, I got to share some things with you all. As always, we got the announcements, the evening announcements. First and foremost, y'all, anyone who knows someone that is over 40 and is looking for a mate, listen, send them over to I Choose You, the 40 edition, right? Got to be over 40, grown and sexy. I need y'all to drop me a link or a little message at SB Show 2020. Now, those of you that don't know what I Choose You is my dating show. If you're really interested, go back about a year, check it out. I Choose You was the name of the dating show. We are doing it again, but this time we're doing over 40. So if you know anyone that wants to be a bachelor or bachelorette, have them come drop me a line over at sbshow2020@gmail.com. Please do. We need some more bachelors and bachelorettes because we need to get this thing going. Y'all know this is Lover's Lane over here, the SB Nation. That's just who we are. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. But anyway, somebody, sbshow2020@gmail.com. We already have a lot of interest, but I want more because things happen in this YouTube space, in this world, So I want to have more than enough. So if you know somebody, sbshow2020, just drop me a line and say, yes, I'm interested. I choose you. So Instagram family, I hope you heard that. Somebody, send them on over. Yes. Now, I got to tell you this next story. It's not good, y'all. I don't know if you all can remember, but going back to I Choose You, if y'all recall Ace was one of the young men that was on I Choose You, and he's also a part of the Daily Wrap-Up crew. Now, some of you probably have heard this already, but on the Daily Wrap-Up crew, you got Ace, Jew, and Eli. Y'all, we just got a message a couple of days ago. Well, I was with you all on Tuesday night, so it must have been yesterday, that Jew is the light-skinned fellow. I'm going to have Mr. Boss actually show him to you all. Jew was in some type of terrible shooting, and he is now in ICU. I don't know how well he's doing, or, I don't know, but he was hit in the head, I think, and in the arms. It doesn't sound good at all, y'all. So listen, this is his GoFundMe. If you want to help the GoFundMe, the instructions and everything is in the description below this video. So y'all, it's not good, but we're going to lift him up with the prayers and hope that he recovers. But he was definitely shot. It was senseless. I've heard it was a senseless thing. So I don't know. I don't have any details, but they do give some details on the GoFundMe. So y'all go check it out. I don't know if y'all remember Jew or know him, but the Daily Wrap-Up crew, y'all know them are people. I check in on them all the time. I was actually planning to go see them right before this happened. So listen, y'all, let's send some prayers up. And if you have some funds, go ahead and send them also. His GoFundMe instructions are right below in the description box below the video. So y'all make sure y'all take a look at that. And I just, y'all, you just don't know. You just don't know. But anyway, we're going to move on. I hate that I brought us down, but I had to let y'all know about you. Y'all, we see and hear people in this space and we just forget that, there's a real life that goes on outside of here. And then we're reminded, somebody passes away or something tragic like this happens. It's just like, wow. But anyway, before I get started, let me go ahead and read this super chat. And Mr. Gilbert, thank you so much to help get the party started.
Dearly beloved.
This ain't Club Church, but this is SB Nation. So anyway, y'all, I'm just making a joke. Anyway, so y'all listen, let me say hello to a few people before we get into this, because I got to tell y'all something. Boy, I tell you, some folks really know how to go viral. But anyway, here we go. DJ Torch. Listen, DJ Torch left a message earlier. He says, the better title would be Modern Men Want Modern Women to Be Traditional. Thank you so much for your input, sir. Thank you so much. JG, what's up with you? Good to see you, Dr. Steele. Hello. Clement, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Miss M, I see you. How you doing, Miss M? Miss M, listen. If you try to keep that comment section in some sort of order, you're going to lose your mind. You got to just be like shaking your head. You got to give them one of these. Something like that. Because sometimes you'll be like, I'm telling you how it makes me and Mr. Boss. We have to go back. Now, I know what I've said, right? But that make me have to go back and listen to what I said, because sometimes
they liars, bro. They liars.
I'll be like, did I say that? So thank you so much for your support, and you be holding it down. So thank you for that. Jimmy, hello, sir. How are you? It's good to see you. It is crazy. Hey, Trey, how are you? Lady Navoa, hello. How are you? It's good to see you. If I've missed someone, y'all please forgive me, but I'm gonna get started with this because, like I said, Mr. Boss is gonna drop the link, and I want to hear from some of my men because it is about you all, and I want y'all to get us straight. Black, what's up with you? I want y'all to get us straight, keep us straight, so we'll have the right mindset. So listen, I gotta tell y'all, Trey, this video or this, what we're doing tonight, you inspired it. Now, when I'm up here talking to you guys, I very rarely take a look at the comment section because it's so far away from me. Mr. Boss kind of handles that. If he wants me to see something, he'll put it in big bold and pull it out so I can take a look at it. But otherwise, I just really don't be paying that much attention. I might catch one here and there, but I do go back and look at my comment section just to get an idea of what the thoughts are, the feelings are, and things of that nature. Men want modern women to be traditional. So I came up with that after talking to a very sober brother by the name of the real Nathan Daly. He and I were talking. But anyway, Trey, you inspired this because I did a video the other day, and we're going to do it again. And in that video, I outlined what I think is a traditional woman, how she should carry herself, how she should interact with men and all of that. Now, in the video, I couldn't name all that because this was a clip. So in the actual live, though, I said a lot of things, and I'm going to say a lot of things tonight. But I noticed that you were saying in the comment section, SB is what you say, out of touch. I think those were the words you used, out of touch. So, I'm going to let you make your point because I'm not sure exactly what you're speaking of, because when I'm making my points, I'm talking about a traditional woman that is wanting to be a wife. I'm trying to, encourage women to be married, to be wives, not play games. I'm not trying to push game plan. I'm not trying to push that woman that knows how to do things until she, gets tired of doing them and then be like, what? The ones y'all talk about, she changed. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to give women who want to be wives the tools that they need to be good wives. I'm talking about the ones that are aligning with God and all that good stuff. So when you say, and you know what, Trey, that don't change. Those are the principles and the concepts of marriage. Because remember, I actually teach biblical marriage, covenant. I don't do the business. So again, I'm not sure what you mean by out of touch, but I would love for you to actually come up when we're done in a minute and tell me what exactly do you mean by out of touch? Because I'm not trying to give you a better way to operate in dysfunction that you all are operating in now. They hate you and you hate them, or
they not doing what they're supposed to do, not you particularly, but they want to do these short skirts and y'all don't like it. All that little confusion that y'all have going on now in the dating game, this modern dating game where y'all can't take them to Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's. And I'm not trying to correct that. That is what it is. I don't even know if I'm talking to those type people, because I said again, I'm talking to women. I'm trying to inform the women who want to be wives. The ones that want to be married. I want them to be attractive to these men out here. So when you say that I'm out of touch, I really want you to tell me, because I would like to know. That's all. So anyway, Trey, hold on. Trey says, why not let me know that this was going to happen, not ambush me? I'm sorry, Trey, don't consider this an ambush. This is not an ambush. We straight. I just want you to tell me, because I feel like I'm missing a whole group of people judging by you. I feel like I know you don't represent everybody, but judging by your comments, I feel like I'm missing something. So I want to make sure I speak to you so you can tell me exactly where I am out of touch, because maybe I am, but I can share with you what I'm trying to do and who I think I'm talking to you to. And then you can let me know, where I'm missing it, if we can agree on that. So anyway, that's what I mean. I am going to play this video once again, and I'm going to talk about it again. And then y'all can tell me what I'm talking about.
Get some clarity on what are considered to be wifely duties. And also, when should a man expect to start seeing some of those things from a woman that he's dealing with?
Wifely duties. I think a woman, as an adult woman who is single, taking care of herself, she's displaying, she keeps her house clean, she keeps her car clean, she keeps her apartment clean, or whatever it is. She's paying her bills. Her credit is good. She's not going into debt. She speaks with respect. She dressed modestly. She cooks for herself, and she is willing to cook one meal per week for that man. But
It's a meal camp.
Right. Okay.
It's a meal camp.
Okay.
he's not her husband.
Okay.
One meal a week, but she's
There you
not
go.
washing his clothes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
But he can come over to her house and see how nice and neat her house is. See that her toilet has no ring. Fabuloso. He can come over to her house and see all of this. But he's not her husband. You don't give all of it away.
All right. So again, what I spoke about is what I see as a traditional woman, a wife. Wifely duties. This woman who is wanting to become a wife needs to know how to manage her home. That would include cooking, cleaning, making sure everything is immaculate. That's how I like it. But it could be some room between here and there. But either way, she needs to be the woman that takes care of the budget, her own budget. You need to see all these qualities that you would see in your own home. But she's in her home because this is where she does it. She's a single woman. She's taking care of herself. A man, a husband, needs to see this woman I'm talking about as an asset. He should not ever see her as a liability. And let's talk about the liability part, because I think that's the part where we are falling off at. Because maybe people don't understand what I mean, because in this time, I hear so often about how women are wanting men to do things for them in this girlfriend or dating, position. Like, we just dating. You my girlfriend, you my boyfriend, but that's it. But I want you to get my hair done. I want you to pay my car payment, do all these different things. I want you to take me to dinner, spend $300 and all that, right? See, I'm telling you, men, that this may not be the woman you need to marry, because she sounds more like a liability than an asset. A woman who's an asset knows how to handle your money, but guess what? She doesn't have your money. She's handling hers. She knows how to make a plan, which in her case would be a budget, and have good credit, y'all. This is what that woman does. This woman knows how to manage a home. So she's making sure her house is clean, her car is clean, whatever she is in control of. That's what that wife is doing. She's cooking. But here we go. She's cooking even if you're not coming over, but she's inviting you over at least once a week. But you can come over more than that. My point was that this woman knows how to cook. She knows how to wash clothes. She knows how to present herself in modest dress. She ain't got her butt all out. She ain't got her boobs out. She ain't the one that went and got the BBL. That's not her. I didn't say that last time, but I feel like I need to say it. She's also the one that speaks to men and everybody very respectfully. She knows respect for a man is very important. She knows this. And also, she is aligning herself with God to make sure she understands what it's like to be a wife. She needs to know helpmate. She needs to know purpose. That's the woman I described in that video. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. That is the one. So I hope everybody heard me this time. So if you're looking for a wife, then that's what she should look like until she becomes your actual wife. That's a girlfriend. That's the one you should be looking for. That is a traditional woman. That's the woman who doesn't mind operating or being in her role as a wife. I'm going to give y'all another example of one. I don't know too much about her, but just some of the things she said thus far lets me know that she is a wife. Miss Simone Biles, right? She is a very high earning woman. But one thing I recall her saying is in a few years, they're not going to be saying that's Simone Biles' husband. They're going to be saying she is Jonathan Owen's wife. See how humble that is? See, that's a wife. A traditional wife would say that. A woman who cares not about how much money she makes or how much he makes, and humble enough to say, you know what, I want you and I'm going to avail myself to you. That is a humble woman who can be married. That is a traditional woman. That's somebody you could actually work with. That's somebody who understands the purpose of a wife. And that's who I'm talking to. So when someone says I'm out of touch, I don't know what y'all be talking about. So I want you to let me know, because what I'm seeing in this modern time, in this modern dating, is that women don't have no idea the purpose of a man. They don't know that that they even owe you respect. They actually call you their partner. Now, some people struggle with this partnership because some say, you know what, just because she's my partner don't mean we 50-50, whatever. Because the role of a husband in a marriage is not to be your partner. He's to be your leader. So we could play games. Who knows? But either way, it's to be your leader. That's what he said. That's what God gave him, dominion over all things. That's what's supposed to happen within a marriage relationship. And let me go back and say this too. In a marriage relationship, the two things that God mentioned himself were the duties of a wife, were to respect and submit her to her husband. Now, in dating, you definitely get respect, but you're not going to get too much submission because, again, I'm in my own, you're going to get a lot of cooperation now, but I'm in my own home. I'm paying my own bills. I'm not asking you to do anything for me but what you want to do. If you want to take me out to dinner, I am going. If you want to, whatever it is you want to do, gift me something, thank you so very much. But I'm not asking you for those things. I am not making the waters murky. We're going to be able to see a difference between being a girlfriend and being a wife. Look, you're not going to hold me up for so long. I'm not going to be like, what he doing? Or you're not going to be like, well, I'm getting all of this. So why I got to marry? No. It's not going to be that. Because again, that woman is also preserving herself. Now that's a traditional woman. She's celibate. Yeah. So again, when you say I'm out of touch, I'm not sure what you're talking about, because I'm not pushing the woman that doesn't know these things. I'm not pushing the woman that won't cook for you, that won't clean her own house, that has a dirty trunk. I'm not doing that. So how am I out of touch? We have women. I know what one thing you said, there are women out there that have their own money. Absolutely, they do have their own money. But the most women that I hear, when I hear all these things about women and what they do, they're asking men for money too. Well, if you can't get my hair done, I don't think we need to date, because you're not showing me any manly or husband qualities. What? See, with a traditional woman, she kind of minds her business. She that's how she stands out. That's how she's different. A modern woman, they pretty much are doing pretty much the same thing. They're being selfish. So again, when you say I'm out of touch, or are you just saying that there are no traditional women out there? So I ask all these questions because I want to know, do men want modern women, or do they want traditional women? Or do you want the modern woman to be traditional? Because you already know that's not going to happen. So I need y'all men to let me know, where am I off? Hey, Better Love Movement, how are you? It's good to see you. It is. You're telling them the truth. Uh-oh, hold on for a minute. It went away. You telling them the truth that they don't want to hear. Uh-oh, Better Love Movement say y'all don't want to hear it. I want to know because Trey, you done told me I'm out of touch. Black, am I out of touch? We want tradition. Black, are you sure? Trey, Trey say I'm out of touch. I'm talking to y'all about modern women, traditional women all the time, and all I get is pushback. You're getting pushed back on the fact that she ain't having sex with you. I'm getting pushed back on the fact that because she's not having sex with you, you don't want to take her out no date. You don't want to spend no money on her. What are we doing? I need to hear. Nobody is traditional. You yourself are not traditional. Out of touch. Okay, tell me. See, this is where we differ because my husband say we traditional. We're traditional because we honor the roles that God has put forth, and those roles have been there from the beginning. We operate in his will, not our own. So that makes us traditional. Now, if you yourself don't agree with what we agree traditional is, then okay, now we would understand what the problem is. But if you gonna, I don't think you can pretty much say that, because if Mr. Ball said we are in a traditional marriage and he's the leader, which I respect, he's the covering provider, all of that. I respect all that. I'm his wife. I'm his helpmate. We're here for purpose. I don't know how much more you can get traditional than that. Now, we do live in a modern time. Okay. Is that what you're saying? We take advantage of all the conveniences that are out there, but that has nothing to do with me as a woman knowing my role in a marriage relationship. That has nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. So I want to know, because Cam up. I think Mr. Boss has already put the link in the chat. Hey, Anissa, how you doing? These men are modern. Now, I'm not going to know, because see, Black is saying he wants traditional. And if Black wants traditional, I would think that what he's saying is he wants roles in his household. He wants to be responsible for something as the man, as the head, and he wants his wife to be responsible for something. Or I don't know if he wants, if he wants his wife to be responsible for certain things also. He don't want him, make the waters murky. He wants, defined roles in his home. And I that would be what I consider traditional. So Trey, you can just, if you listen, you ain't got the cam up, but you just go ahead and so we can hear your voice and let us know exactly what you're saying, because that is what we consider traditional. If you have another way that you are framing traditional, just let me know. Lots of translation. Hello, sir. How you doing? Times may change, but principles don't. Principles are very traditional. I would say the Bible itself is traditional. And Trey, I think you wanted us to update that. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing it. Yeah, I'm not responding to ambush tactics. I'm not trying to ambush you. You be in this comment section going crazy every week. Now I'm telling you to put some voice to it. I want to hear it audibly, so I can ask my own questions of you, and you feeling like you ambush. Should I feel like I be being ambushed? Mr. Boss, should I feel like do Trey ambush me? Trey, Mr. Boss shaking his head back there. He said, you be ambushing me. I just don't be paying you no attention. What? Trey. Trey, do you be? Trey, I thought you stayed ready. Yeah, I got some questions. And listen, this ain't that beloved. So Trey, don't think that. I really want your help. See, you're the closest thing I have to a troll now. We have gotten rid of, what's her name? Lady D. What's the other girl named Sugar Bum? She's gone. We can't do, you're the closest thing I have to a troll right now. So I need you. Tit for tat is chat. This is not a tit. I am asking you serious questions and you calling it a tit for tat. I want to know what men want modern women to be traditional. Is this a true statement? I want to know, because I just know what you said. You said I'm out of touch. I would love to hear, what am I out of touch about? Hey, y'all over there on Instagram, CJ Smith, Diva, 1982. What's up, Marcus? What's going on? Marcus, tell me something. Marcus, you tell me the truth. Marcus, do men want modern women to be traditional? Let me know, Marcus. Marcus will tell me the truth. Somebody let me know. I need to know. I want some men who are in this dating scene right now, who are dating or looking for a wife, whatever the situation is. I need y'all to tell me, is this the case? Please don't disrespect me. I am not a troll. I didn't say you were. I said you were the closest thing to it that I have right now. So I'm asking you the questions. If that's disrespectful, then forgive me. I never intended to be disrespectful. I'm just asking you a true question. And the question is, men want modern women to be traditional. You told me I'm out of touch. I would love to hear from you. Why am I out of touch? Now, that is a valid question. Why wouldn't you want to answer that question? In the comment section the other day, you put it at least 2 or 3 times, 2 times at least. I'm asking the question. That's all. You are a man that inspired. I was like, I wonder what Trey's talking about, because I'm not talking about modern women. I'm talking about a woman who wants to be a wife. So what is it? You know, traditional, like a freak in the sheets, lady in the streets. Listen, a traditional woman could also be this woman with her husband. So again, I don't know. I'm just asking questions. So ain't nobody go come up. Cam, the link is in the comments. I need my men to come up and tell me. Clement, you're welcome to come up. Black, you don't have to cam up, but I would love to hear your voice and tell me exactly how I am. Well, these are not your words. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. School me on this. Keep me up to date on what we're doing. You know, if I'm not getting it, if I'm not sharing with you all what a traditional woman looks like to be a wife, let me know. Let me know how she differs, or let me know if you want a woman with these traditional values, but you want a modern woman. You know, like Black just said, I may want the woman that's a freak in the sheets, but I want a woman that is traditional. Hey, Trey. There we go. Trey.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Now, Trey, help me out. You mentioned a couple of times that I was out of touch. Please help me and tell me exactly what you're talking about.
Well, it's a little bit difficult because I'm not sure what you're referring to. So I'm a little bit irritated because I didn't have any opportunity to prepare for this. You had a chance to prepare for this. So I'm gonna wing it off the cuff. I'm guessing that this is about the conversation you were having with Nathan Daly.
Oh, no, it was from this video that I just played. It was Tuesday. And then we played this video, and you said
Okay.
one comment you made was that women make their own money, and I agree with you. You said out of touch, and I didn't understand what you were saying. Maybe I should say it that way. I don't
Okay.
understand what you're saying.
Well, one of the elements is that because women make their own money, there's no guarantee that she's actually cleaning her own place. Now, this is something that a lot of women in your age bracket don't quite understand, but you can have a home cleaning service come clean your home for as low as $19. And this is something that y'all won't address. And I'm telling you this because when I was in a relationship, when she didn't want to clean the house, she hired somebody to come in and come clean the house. I walked into my home several times and saw Consuela or Maria cleaning the home. So
Okay,
this idea that, well, you went over to our house and our house is clean doesn't mean that she's wifeable because she has a clean home. There's no guarantee that she actually cleaned it. What I mean when I say that you're out of touch is that the only way to find out if she can actually clean is to put her in a position where you can actually see her clean.
Okay, so listen, I don't think that's true, because that's only one aspect of a woman that wants to be married. See, you picking out one thing of all the several things I mentioned. This woman that wants to be married, she's not out to play a game with you. It's not that her house is clean. It's that her trunk is clean. It's that her presentation is clean. And also, you can't bring in a situation that is dysfunctional and try to use what I say to cover that situation. If you are if a woman is shacking up with a man and she's playing house already, she's not doing anything that's correct that looks like a wife. So the fact of the matter that she's not cleaning up, why would she?
Well, this is what I mean when I say that you're
You know
out
what
of
I'm
touch.
saying? Why
This
would
is
she
what I
though?
mean when I say that you're out of touch, because that's what most people do.
What, shack up?
Age. Yes.
Okay.
Most people move in together first before they actually get married. Most people are together for 2 to 3 years and they've lived together before they get married. So this is what I'm saying. Like, listen, here's the thing. It's very difficult to have a conversation with you because there's a book that you go by. and then you are not flexible on any other kinds of thought outside of that book, which is why I say that you're out of touch, because the majority of the world has moved beyond religion, which is why we're in a lot of the issues we have now, right? A lot of people don't even go to church anymore.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely. The fact that you all don't follow the Bible is that's not the reason why this thing isn't working. That is the reason why this thing is not working. The Bible is not going to change to conform to people that want to be immoral. The fact that you want to be immoral and do things on your own is why we're in so much confusion. It's not the opposite way around.
Right,
the Bible's not going.
That's the point I'm making.
Wait, no. What you said is, I'm basing my life on a book. That's the book that you should be basing your life on. That's the book that says.
I'm making the point that you're out of touch because nobody else is doing it. They're not doing it.
But Trey, I don't care what other people are doing.
When you're out of the game for 20 plus years, this is what happens. You don't understand it.
No, listen, there's nothing to understand.
When's the last time you went to a single woman's home on a date?
But Trey, listen, none of that matters. I'm telling you, I'm gonna tell you why it doesn't matter.
So my experience doesn't matter.
Listen, let me tell you, your experience is your experience, but I'm giving you another aspect of what could happen. If nobody is doing what I'm saying, then that person is going to be a standout. The principles of what a wife is and her duties to her husband has not and will not change. If you see people doing the same thing all the time, then you would know, hey, you know what? This looks like something I've seen before. That's your measuring stick. But if you see a woman that has a higher standard and has elevated herself to a point where, you know what, this is not how she's moving. I'm seeing something different. Her conversation is different. She's not on Instagram with her boobs out. She's different. Then that's what you pay attention to. You don't boil it down to one thing as in cleaning, but because guess what? This woman is not trying to trick you. This may be an honest woman. It could be an honest woman. So for me to change what I know is real and what works, that's not the answer. You look, and you don't have to do, of course, you don't have to do anything that I say, but I'm giving you another aspect of it because what's going on now is a game and it's not working. See, so when a person says, you know what, this.
How would you know though? That's my question.
How would I know what? That's the whole question.
From what experience?
I've been married 28 years. I've been married 28 years and I was a 25-year-old.
To one man.
Mr. Okay, maybe I don't understand your question.
Does not represent all men. He is one man.
Right. I don't understand your question. Ask it once more.
Well, I'm asking, where does this come from? Where do you get this? Because you're not dating modern women. So I don't understand. Is this third party information? You're just hearing it from other people?
Okay.
Because you're not doing it and your husband's not doing it. So where's it coming from?
So are you saying you do want a modern woman that is traditional?
I'm saying all women are modern and nobody is traditional anymore.
Okay, so can you elaborate on that just a little bit so I can understand what you're saying?
Sure. If we're talking about traditional, we can't reconceptualize the word traditional to make it be what we want it to be. Traditional is traditional. If I'm going to marry a woman, right, and this isn't just for women, this is for women and men.
Okay.
The traditional is traditional. Technically, I'm not traditional. I didn't wait until marriage to have sex. I'm not traditional. I'm modern as they come. Majority of women are modern. In this day and age, you're not going to meet a woman in 2024 who isn't modern. And just because you want to take some elements of traditionalism and follow them, that doesn't make you traditional. You're not traditional. What you are is some form of a weird hybrid that you're taking modern elements and you're taking traditional elements and you're mashing them up together and then trying to put a stamp of, well, I'm traditional. No, you're modern.
No, we're not. No, see, this is how I see it. And unless you planned your life and had an agenda, the two things that you did that were not modern, as far as having children out of wedlock, I consider those bad decisions because that's not what you intended to do. Now I could have been wrong. If I am, that's true. Anything that you do that is not, if you're calling yourself a traditional person, if you do something that doesn't view itself as being traditional, you could have made a mistake because we can do that. But if a person is living a traditional life, and I'm talking about in marriage, that means the husband is the leader. He's the covering. He's the head. And that is what you're doing. And that's the role you respect. And you have the principles of God and his foundation that governs that. That is traditional. That is traditional. But as far as us living in a modern time, you were exactly right. We all take advantages of the conveniences. But I can also choose to live modern. And what that looks like is without the word of God. I can choose to be sexually immoral. I can choose to live that life as sexually immoral. That doesn't mean I'm celibate and I made a mistake because I like this person and I thought we were going somewhere. That's totally different. I can choose to have several women. I can choose to, have several men, excuse me. But that would be me choosing that way of life. That has nothing to do with God. That has nothing to do with being aligning with God. Nothing to do with anything but sin is what it actually has to do with. Because I'm not giving my life any structure. I'm not operating in any type of obedience. I'm just doing what I want to do. And that would be something that some people might call modern times. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not even talking to those people. I'm not even trying to tell those women what they need to do, or any man, a man either. I'm talking to people who want a traditional lifestyle, which includes a man, his wife, and children, all living under one roof. Even if you made some sort of mistake and you had a child, or if your wife had another wife and she passed away, whatever the situation is, we don't have to live in dysfunction all our life. We can get back on track. That's what I'm talking about. So I think
intention is irrelevant. Your intention is irrelevant. If I didn't mean to shoot a man and I killed him, I'm still a murderer.
Yeah, you did.
It doesn't change anything. Your intention is irrelevant. Whether I intended to not have the children out of wedlock or not, I did. This is this liberal mentality that this United States has now, where you get to cover up all your mistakes because, well, I didn't mean to do it that way. It doesn't matter if you meant to do it that way or not. You did it, and the results are what matters. The results are what matters. The fact of the matter is that I did have a child out of wedlock. The fact of the matter is that I didn't get married. Those are the results, which makes me non-traditional. Plain and simple. I don't get to change it and say, well, now that I'm in a relationship and now that I'm married. No, you're not traditional. You're some form of a hybrid, modern, traditional trait, whatever you want to call it. You can't just, like, this whole reconceptualizing words and make them fit to what you can't do that. Like, it's irresponsible to me.
Do you mean like what you just did? You some sort of hybrid, such that nobody's called it that?
I'm saying that's what you are.
You just did.
You're somewhere in the middle. I don't know exactly what you would call it, but you can't call yourself traditional and you can't call yourself modern either. You're just somewhere in the middle somewhere. But you can't just make it up and say, well, now that I'm practicing traditional traits and being traditional, now I'm traditional. No, that's not how it works.
No, it absolutely does, because it all depends on what you believe.
Insane.
Absolutely, it does. Because
we're not going to agree on this, and I'm not going to waste any more time because I already think that this was ambushed to begin with. You could have at least sent me a message and say, hey, we want to discuss this, and I would have been prepared for it. But this whole idea is kind of wild to me. The fact of the matter is that we live in a world now where people make up definitions to words, and there's a whole dictionary with definitions for a reason, and the purpose of the definitions is so that we all are speaking the same language. If you have a definition to a word and your definition of the word is different from mine, we're never going to be on the same page, and at this point we're just wasting time.
I agree. So
have a good night.
So you want to hear this part? Did he go? Okay. Well, Clement, this is Clement. He can't hear me. Clement, if you're there, go ahead and give me your part, because I heard what Trey had to say. So you go ahead and tell me what you're thinking. I can't hear him. So anyway, like I said, y'all, I was trying to get an idea what it is. Men want modern women to be traditional. I need an answer to that. Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Because traditional I will say traditional is when you are in a marriage. Traditional in marriage is when you have roles in this marriage. The husband is the head. He's the leader. He has his wife. They're responding in purpose. They follow God. They have a covenant. They act within the principles. Hey, Clement.
Yes, ma'am. How we doing, SB?
I'm doing good. So you heard what Trey had to say. Now I'm finna listen to you too. Go ahead, give it to me.
You borging real bad. That's why it was hard for me to get in. I had to come out and come back in, and you still borging. So I don't know if it's on my end or yours, but it's a real. Even when Trey was talking, when I was in the back of the studio, when I was waiting, it was nothing but borging on my end. So you still doing it.
Okay, I can hear you fine. I hear you very
Okay.
well, so I don't know.
All right,
I don't
cool.
know.
No, I think I understand what Trey is saying, but I still would have to disagree with him because, yes, a lot of us are living in modern times expecting traditional values. And unfortunately, when it comes to both men and women, most of us wasn't taught that. Most of us, for a lot of us, even if we did come up in a traditional aspect of a home, mother and father, still was in some ways untraditional because I can speak for myself. Grandparents married for 77 years before my grandmother passed.
Mhm.
3 years ago. 2 years after that, my grandfather followed right behind her. Them two is all each other knew. But I saw traditional values through my grandmother. The women today would look at my grandmother and think that my grandfather was abusive and controlling
Mm.
because of what my grandmother did. Grandmother woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, opened up her business from 6 a.m. in the morning, Monday through Sunday to 12 p.m. That thing stayed open. You know what she did in between that? 5, 6 o'clock, she left the restaurant, went and cooked and made sure my grandfather had a home cooked meal. Hardly ever once heard her complain.
Right.
If the house, now you know what my grandfather's contribution was to that? If the house needed cleaning, they had a maid. Somebody came in and they cleaned it. So we have a lot of, I see personally, experience,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of laziness in our community.
Okay.
A lot of people don't want to get their hands in the mud and do the work. They want the grandizement of the expectation of what a marriage brings, the goodness of it, but then are unwilling to put in the work to see that goodness. No one has a work ethic.
Mm.
Most women, if they know that they can depend on a job to pay their bills, just to get them by, they'll refuse to listen to that man that they married to because they know they have a fallback. And where Trey is coming from, where he talks about the church, that's where I have to agree with him at. Our church leadership is teaching these modern day women not to be traditional because of the fact that they're not preaching traditional values from behind the pulpit.
Now, I can agree with that also. That's why I did the video demonstrating what traditional values are in women as a woman being a wife. This is why I did that.
That's where I have to disagree with you at as well. That's where I think Trey means you're kind of like out of touch.
Tell me why, please.
I would say for me, I put it in the comments section. Okay, that's fine for someone who's dating or who's in a dating pool. But if you already married and already done made the mistake where you didn't see them red flags, you was too focused in on the lifestyle that you was living outside the will of God, to where now, okay, I'm learning what traditional is because I'm in the right place up under the word of God. But see, when you go back, this is what I would have said to Trey if he was on air. Well, that's how God operates with us. When we start out in the world as a heathen, not knowing who God is, and then we come up into the place of God, that's how Christ treats his church. He allows us a space to get up under him and go up under his leadership of what his values are, his commandments, his creeds, his statutes. And he also allows us the space to be able to grow into that, because nobody just gonna come in straight off and think and act and live as a child. And then all of a sudden, the minute they become grown, all them childhood things are put away without any mistakes in between there. So in that aspect, when we look, that's where my disagreement will come in with you when you said, okay, that's fine. That's for someone who's dating, who's not been married and wants to be married. This is what you look for. But what do you do when, but see, let me say this before you go on. That was the actual question.
That's what I said. This is for women who are dating. This is not a woman that is married.
Okay, so I misheard you then. My mistake. No, I misheard that.
No, the actual question asked was for a woman who is dating, what is some wifely duties, something a man can look for, and when can he actually expect it to be done for
Get
him?
some clarity on what are considered to be wifely duties, and also when should a man expect to start seeing some of those things from a woman that he's dealing with.
Wifely duties. I think a woman, as an adult woman who is single, taking care of herself, she's displaying. She keeps her house clean. She keeps her car clean. She keeps her house, apartment clean, or whatever it is. She's paying her bills. Her credit is good. She's not going into debt. She speaks with respect. She dressed modestly. She cooks for herself, and she is willing to cook one meal per week for that man. But
It's a meal cap.
Right. Okay.
It's a meal cap.
Okay.
he's not her husband.
Okay.
One meal a week, but she's
There you
not
go.
washing his clothes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
But he can come over to her house and see how nice and neat her house is. See that her toilet has no ring. Fabuloso. He can come over to her house and see all of this. But he's not her husband. You don't give all of it away.
So, Clement, that's what
Now, SB, I know what you mean, but I can see where Trey would disagree with you in that when he said that you are not traditional. Because if you think about back in the days in our grandparents' era, back when they actually was chaperone to their dates and things of that nature. It wasn't too much of you being able to go out and be by yourself with some man or some woman you was attracted to.
I
Because
agree.
that father, it's so in that aspect, I think which I could be misspeaking for him, and I'm not trying to do that, but I think that's what he meant when he said, yeah, you're kind of out of touch. Because the traditional way, truth be told, that's just how it should be done. It should be done. I mean, honestly, if you want to keep it, because then you leave no room for the fornication outside the marriage or before marriage.
Like I said, she's
So you
doing
may have
these
said that.
like I was saying,
You may have.
hold on for a minute, Clement. Like I was saying, this woman does these things at her home. She invites him over on Sunday for dinner and she will cook for him. But you have to see this woman doing all these things. It's for that reason. Clement, because listen, as a single woman who is a traditional woman that wants to be married, you don't take money from a man. You don't ask a man for money. That's exactly what I was saying. We don't do that. That's not what you do, because just given the example that you gave, we don't make the waters murky. We don't make you think that we're closer than we are, because then there are expectations for sex. This woman I'm speaking of is someone that is preserving herself. We're not having sex. So the way you do that is you make sure that you're doing what you need to do to show this person, I am this woman. I do want to be married, but I'm not comfortable with doing it in your space. I need you to see that I will do these things in my space. And this is also not a person that is trying to play games with you, but I do understand that people tell lies. So you have to look at more than one aspect. It has to be more than she cleans her house. I've also told you all, listen, y'all check the trunk. Because anybody could tell a story and lie and clean up the house because they knew you were on the way. Check a trunk, because that's where you hide things. I've said a lot of ways that you can identify if a woman is sincere and won't be that woman 5 years from now that you wake up and be like, oh, you done changed. But also, Clement, you can't apply what I'm saying a traditional woman looks like into a situation that you've already put together that wasn't based on a traditional marriage. You can't do that. You can't come back and be like, well, she's not doing this or this and this and this. You can't do that. If we're already in dysfunction, we got to clean up that dysfunction.
No, I agree with you, SB, but see, here's where I think where my disagreement will come with you at. Because you do have plenty of women that do exactly what it is that you're saying. And then once you hold up. Once you get married to them, then that's where I'm talking about the laziness kicks in. Not all women, not all men, but when you have one or the other who decides to get up in there when they did the work to get you there, and then once you say I do, all of a sudden, whatever, and it could have been they did everything you did. You said that one should do in the dating frame, everything. So you just never know until you actually get up in there what could happen. You may have an idea, but everything, I believe truthfully by hearing your story with you and your husband, this is what happened. Both of you decided to put in the work. Both of you came in with an attitude of divorce is not an option.
Absolutely.
Outside of this, not non-negotiable. See, the problem is I believe that people get into these marriages saying one thing, but then once they in it, all of a sudden everything is negotiable. Divorce is negotiable. Walking out on a marriage is negotiable because I'm unhappy. Things are not happening the way that I want it to happen. Nothing in life is free. Everything you have, you must work for, especially in a marriage.
Well, listen, Clement, that's what I'm saying. I am giving you, okay, so right now we're living in modern times where marriage is not even, it's not even an option. People don't even talk about being married sincerely.
You're right. I agree with you.
So if I'm giving you another way of thinking, another option of thinking how marriage could actually be, I had a show last week or 2 weeks ago, The Standard. These are young people, all under 30, that are married, who have done the work. And I can tell you exactly what they're doing, the women and the men, to get to this point. They're doing the work. And what I'm saying to you is you can't enter a situation not being 100% on your end, meaning following Christ. But see, I don't tell men what to do. I talk to women. So while you're inspecting or looking at this woman demonstrate who she is as a woman in Christ that wants to be a wife, you too have to have that same amount of discernment to see if this woman is for real. But if you don't have it, I can't promise you anything. Then she might fake you out.
SB, that's where I turn around and I look at the church. Think about it. Think about what you said, following Christ.
Right.
When you look into the demographics of the population of who's more of what inside these church houses a day, overwhelmingly, there are more women than there is men. There's a reason for that. For the most part, you may have some where you see more marriages in that particular church than you do singleness of those that matter. But when you see that, or when you go into some of these churches and you see co-pastoring of, you see the husband and the wife and they both pastors, right then and there, you have division. You see what I'm saying? Because you can't have two heads at the helm.
I agree with that. But I didn't tell you to follow the church.
No. I'm not saying that, SB. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. But the unfortunate thing is when you say God first, you're right. But where do most people gonna go learn about doing it God's way first? I can't. Think of it like this. I can't be a non-believer, become a believer, but then only teaching what it is that I, as a non-believer who came into unbelieving, believes off my own understanding if I'm not going to a place to be taught from someone who's appointed in that position. You see what I'm saying?
So what you're saying is we go to the church as fellowship and to be taught by the pastors is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that we have. How can the word be preached unless one has been sent to preach the word?
Because I can tell you 150% that if you seek a relationship with God and you pick up his instructional manual, the Bible, he will use you and give you what you need. I'm not saying that you're going to retain. Hold on. I'm not saying that you're going to retain every scripture or anything like that, but you are in pursuit of what God would have you do. And he will actually give you that discernment and show you exactly what you need to do. Now, I'm not telling you not to go to church, but I'm saying to you, you cannot put your salvation or your life in anybody's hands. You can't do it.
That's not what I'm saying, SB. That's not what I'm saying.
I'm saying this. I'm saying this because you see exactly what is going on now. This is what's going on now. The fallout of the church is ridiculous. So what are we doing now? We still have to be who we are as followers of Christ. So we have to get it for ourselves.
So what I'm saying is when you walk up upon it now, you will see women that are wives that sit up there and turn around and say that God called them to be a leader over men.
That's not right. You know it's not. It's not right.
Hold up now. You're right. It's not right. But you once again got to understand where it is that I think Trey and a lot of us as men are coming from, where we're like, hold up. According to the word, that's not what the word says. So how do you put yourself in a position to say this is what God told you, which automatically is going to create division and rift at home between you and that man? And if you sit up there and you going, and now whether you're going to a synagogue or you at home and this is what you believe in from your own understanding of what you reading as a woman or a man, because you have some men that's up under that Jezebelian spirit as well, and they ain't got no backbone.
Okay, so listen, I gotta tell you this. Everything you said is right, and it is happening. But this is where husbands have to be leaders. Husbands have to believe that they're leaders and they've been given dominion over their households, over the wives that they pick. And they have to have that structure within their homes. If your wife is acting out of order, husbands, you have to let her know that this cannot happen. But if it does go on and you know, people act as though it's okay, you yourself know that it's a problem because the word of God says this should not happen. Now, if you ain't gonna call it out,
right?
Huh?
You kick her out, right? If she continues to act like that you kick her out, right?
Is that what God told you to do?
I mean, I'm just asking because you're sitting up there saying what it is that a husband that's under the word of God is doing it the right way, and the wife decides that she wants to be a Jezebel. I'm just gonna call it like.
I thought we were talking about. I thought we were talking about a husband and a wife preaching in the pulpit. I'm sorry, did we change?
No, all this is SB. What I'm trying to say is this: all of this comes in together. It's one big old gumbo pot. All of it comes in. It's all in one. Each thing that you put into gumbo, that's how our relationship is today. Everybody's putting in an ingredient.
So wait a minute. Are you saying that the husband that is in the pulpit with his wife is not in agreement with this?
They're in agreement with what it is that they're doing. But the thing is that what they're being as leadership behind that pulpit is going out into the atmosphere, into the congregation.
Okay.
And if that's what I'm saying is there, from there, it comes home, whether it comes home through the husband or it comes on through the church. Because if you're my leader, if I look at you as leadership, as someone that I look at and respect, what you say, I'm going to take to heart and I'm going to carry that on into my world, into my family or whatnot. So if you're not being led by the Spirit, and what you're telling me is wrong, and I'm going off of you, and I'm not doing the proper work of studying, reading and studying myself to be approved before God, then that's the blind leading the blind. And what happens to that? They both fall into the ditch. See, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I agree with Trey to a degree of what he's saying when you look at what it is that we see in society today. Think about it. This stuff with the Bishop Jakes. You got Jamal Bryant. You got all these well-known preachers that's living outside the will of God, but they're preaching. You go into Jamal Bryant's church, it's majority women. Heck, you just have Bishop McMurray or whatever his name is, Bishop Murphy in Atlanta, sitting up there acting like church was a club.
I agree.
See, so and now, mind you, he's married.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, he has a wife. Now, what is it that we're teaching? What is it that we're teaching these people? If we even talking about marriage from behind the pulpit.
So I'm agreeing with you. I am totally agreeing with what you're saying. Now, it is not going to be large numbers of people that actually get this. So understand, Clement, I agree with you. And I wouldn't say that those people are being taught the Holy Spirit, Christ, or anything, because, you know, I brought the video out the other day where they was surfing and swaying and surfing and inside the church. And we all know that is not.
I didn't even know that was the dance.
No, I didn't know it. Well, anyway, let's not get off. But listen, we all know that that is not what's supposed to happen. We already know that the church is falling apart. That's why I'm saying to you all, men, if you are a leader, I need you to believe in that. I need you to go to the Bible and see and understand what God has for you. And it's nothing wrong with trying the spirit. If somebody says something to you and it doesn't sit right, why not try it? Or if you're in your home and you're doing everything that you thought you were taught correctly, but the outcome is not correct, try the spirit. Get on your knees and ask God, listen, show me what I'm supposed to be doing. Pray for that. You're the covering, do all of that. But that has nothing to do with what I'm saying right now, because the question that I ask is, how am I out of touch when I'm talking to women that want to be wives traditionally? They want to follow and align themselves with what God says a wife looks like. They want to be purposeful in that manner. They want to be that helpmate. I'm not talking about someone that's playing games. I'm not talking.
Okay,
now,
so SB, I have one request.
okay.
There's nothing wrong with what you did in that video. I'm not really saying that, but I asked Trey this in a chat line, and maybe this should be I know you saying I'm not talking to men, but the thing is, you have majority men as well as women that comes and looks at you and basically follows you. So that means that we are looking at the prospect of what it is that we would want to have in our own relationships when it comes to a woman. You best believe we watching what you doing. We are looking at that as an example when we may come upon a woman, or if it comes to the woman that we are married to at that time. So I asked Trey this in the chat line. I don't know if he ever answered it because he was talking to you. Maybe you should ask the men that are looking for a wife, what is a traditional wife to you?
That was my question. That's what I came here to say.
Okay, you did. I didn't see that. Okay.
That was my initial question because I've heard him say that I was out of touch. I said, well, okay, what exactly are you all looking for? Men want modern women to be traditional. What is it? I'm telling you about a traditional woman. I'm telling you how it looks. I'm telling you how she looks. This is how it should look. Now, if you're saying that's not enough, I'm saying, okay, well, if that's not enough, then you must don't want a traditional woman, because a traditional woman is not going to come into your home and clean up your house and cook you meals and do all these things while dating, because that's not what a traditional woman should be doing.
Well, a traditional woman is not going to sit up there and cook food for you on Sunday unless she has other people there and you're included in there. And when they leave, you leave as well.
That is not true. That is not true.
Yes, it is. That's
not.
part of being chaperone. SB.
True.
That's okay. So therefore, if it's just me and you, what time you going to make me leave?
Well, who knows what time? But guess what? You ain't got to be there. The dinner was going to be cooked for me. I also said I can cook on Saturday night and Sunday. I'm inviting you over. The point I was making is
that was the whole point. You invited, but you invited me over. What's the whole
invited you over for dinner. I invited you over for dinner because I don't want you to think that this is about me taking your money or I want your money. I want to share with you that I know how to cook.
It's not even about that. SB, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I've seen women do exactly what it is you're talking about. And you know what? Even though I didn't have to spend money, I still got them panties. And they would. So what I'm saying is, that's what I meant by when you said, that's where I turn around and I can agree with Trey when he said, in some ways you could be out of touch, because even what I'm saying, traditionally, even no matter how old you are, if you invite somebody over to your home and it's somebody that you're attracted to and you know that you're attracted to them and you're trying to get to know each other, you would traditionally do it in a group setting. So therefore, it leaves no room for any of the sexual activities to take place. You basically have someone who's somewhat of an accountability partner to say, no, we're not going to have that. That's what they did back for some of them, not all, but that's how a lot of the marriages was created back in the day. So
I can agree with that. I can totally agree with that, but that is not the case for every situation. And I
understand. I'm not speaking, but see, I think that's where Trey maybe coming off saying SB, you out of touch. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's where he's coming from, because even when I said that myself, you quick to shoot it down where you really wouldn't understand what I was saying.
Well, because you all are giving double messages. Because let me tell you,
no.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me tell you why I'm saying you're giving double messages, because I'm sharing with you what a traditional woman should look like. She's not taking from you. She's not trying to make the waters murky, but you're telling me that it's impossible for a grown woman to be that way. And if you think that any of them are,
no. I'm not saying that, SB. I'm not saying that.
No, let me get through with my thought. Let me get through with my thought. Because you just said if she doesn't have accountability partners there, then you all may end up in a compromising situation. I'm telling you, I'm speaking to women and giving them the tools for women who want to be wives and to take it seriously, who know what the purpose and the covenant is about. This woman is showing discipline. This is not somebody she's preserving herself. You haven't committed to her. This woman is on purpose. She's on purpose with intentions. Just because you over there eating a meal, I'm doing this to show you that I'm not trying to take from you. I'm trying to be an asset to you. And what I'm hearing is that woman doesn't exist. But guess what I got? I got last week, standard, 2 women on my platform just a year ago. Since then, they both are married and they could tell you exactly what they did. And they are those women. So I know that they exist. And those are the women I'm talking to. Now, I'm not saying every woman is going to get it. But guess what? You were the wrong man if you even approached her that way, because you knew going in what she was trying to do. See, that's the point I'm talking about. We needed that discernment. If you knew that that woman was trying to be your wife and she was demonstrating these traditional values, but she was cleaning, she was accountable, she discussed all these things with you, you brought her over, she brought you over, y'all got together, ate dinner, because I'm not trying to take from you, but then you still pursued sex. So
well, that could have been.
I'm just saying.
You're right, but that's SB. I believe that's where Trey is coming from, because it's a lot more of what you explained at that moment than what and see, that's why when I asked him, I was like, okay, so what does this traditional woman look like to you? I know what it looked like for me, and I married mine, but then even in me marrying mine, I had to go through the marital problems that I'm going through right now. See, that's the whole point. When you do the things that you should not be doing before you say I do, you leaving yourself useless to get a more understanding and more discernment about who that person truly is. I feel, my personal opinion, if I could do it all over again, I would have never touched my wife for a whole season.
Absolutely.
And I'm talking about all 4 seasons of the year. I would have still courted her, treated her in the most utmost respect, still let her do whatever it is that I needed to do. But when it came to not so much of even kissing, people don't understand how much of touching connection, hand-to-hand connection, how that opens up the insides of you to make you want to be even closer to that individual. And that's not to say if people did that the marriage, if you decide to get married, that it cannot work. But what happens is if you don't really do it up under the confines of what God orchestrated it as, you're asking for a whole bunch of problems, especially if you and that woman both came from previous relationships where you have experienced sexual relations with that man or that woman, whoever it is.
Correct. I agree. I agree with you. I agree with everything that you're saying. Everything that you said, you're exactly right.
Because and believe me, I'm in no disagreement with you, SB. Really, I'm not. Because in a lot of ways, I see where you're coming from, but I can also see where us as men, I can actually see it from both men's even being married, because I'm one that's actually living the marriage, still sticking in there. And see, I'm doing something that even married men would tell me I'm out. Your wife did. My wife did that to me. I'm out. But see, then that's where the order of God comes in at. Where Christ said, husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church. And when this is where Trey and them doesn't understand, when they talk about the biblical understanding, the biblical orders and rules that God has placed in order, we have a higher responsibility as husbands Women, if you look at the order of what it is that a wife is supposed, what they're responsible for, it's maybe 2-3 verses tops. And when you look into Ephesians, how many verses is it for men and the responsibility that we have for the responsibility of the husband has?
It's a
That's
lot.
why.
Love
That's
alone contains a lot. Love alone
yes.
contains a lot. So listen, Clement, I got to let you go. I don't want to let you go, but you don't have to go. But I definitely need to talk
Oh
to
no, I
Dr.
understand.
Steele.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Nice
Well,
talking
thank
to
you
you,
so much.
SB. Happy New Year to you.
Listen, thank you so much for your conversation. I appreciate you so
Uh-huh.
much. All right, Dr. Steele.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being patient. But being Clement was into it and I appreciate it. So listen, you let me know what you think. We're trying to get through this conversation. I'm trying to understand. The question is, men want modern women to be traditional. Do you think that's true? And second question is, I can't ask you the second question because you didn't say it. So go ahead and answer that for me.
Well, you know, we are living in modern times.
Yes.
But even then, there are marriages that are traditional. Some marriages may have that traditional I don't know what word some marriages may have that traditional mindset, but may not know God at all, basically.
So
It's love
you're
that
saying they're operating in the principles of God, but not giving God's reference. They're not reverencing the fact that they're following God's principles. Is that what you're saying?
right. There are some couples that may um do the godly principles, but do not know their godly principles.
Right. I agree with you. Absolutely. It happens a lot.
Yeah, it's love that keeps them together. And that's the whole thing. As a man, you're looking for a wife, you know, I'm looking basically for a woman, you know, who would love me and show me that she loves me, because God knows I'll do the same for her. I would do my part as a man. I Yes, I will lead that woman. But if you look at the Bible, he tells you how to lead her. You lead her with knowledge, you lead her with understanding, you lead her with compassion. Because there's some men out in the world who want to lead with their egos.
Mm.
There are some men who want to lead, beating the chest saying you're the leader.
Hmm.
And you do not need to do that. Okay? To lead simply means to show the way. That's it. You just got to show her the way. And the wife that I'm looking for must be susceptible to the way I am showing her. Also, when I lead, yes, I'm willing to hear what she has to say. I'm willing to hear her concerns. So maybe I could work with that. Now, from my understanding, there are some women who work. And just like us, they'll come home, they'll be tired, they'll be beat up. Okay? It comes down to two things. You mentioned about having a conversation about her job. Okay? Because I know she has to work, do most of those duties. But also in reality, there are going to be times where she's going to need help doing those duties as well. And I'm willing to help her with that. I am more than willing. All I'm asking from the wife that I'm looking for, just be susceptible. Just be trusting. Trusting that, when she has a relationship with me, she's not going to be, well, I'm not going to be misogynist, because that's not what I'm all about. Okay? I just want her to know that, she's going to be benefited. It's going to be peaceful. Okay. Just as long as she does her part to be peaceful, I will be peaceful to her. I mean, that's all it takes for me.
Listen, as a wife, you are signing on for the purpose of a helpmate. If your husband needs for you to work, then you work. If your husband needs for you to stay at home and you are in your traditional roles in that marriage, then you stay at home. It is whatever he needs for you to do. And
Right.
it is just that simple. We do have duties as wife, and that's to respect and submit. Now, if we're not following those traditional values, then we do not have a traditional marriage. If we don't see our marriage as a covenant, we don't have a traditional marriage. We're totally business and totally modern and just doing it as we go, which is totally fine if that's what you want to do. But do you want to do that, but then flip it and say, you know what, though, I want my wife to do this, and this traditionally, as far as cooking, cleaning, like you said, I want to leave it with my ego of something. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Instead of then being in this covenant, or saying, or being that loving husband that shows all the patience, shows this kindness, is not puffed up. All these things that God says you do for your wife. You love your wife. God tells a man to love his wife first and foremost. That's his duty. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Do we want modern women to be traditional, or can we just accept that a traditional woman may not be a modern woman? The thought process is probably, I know they shouldn't be the same. It's two different women. A modern woman is not thinking about her husband first and foremost most of the time. She'll think about her husband, but she's thinking about herself first, more than likely. A traditional woman is thinking about her husband and her family. There's nothing that is superseding her marriage. And that's the type of woman that you should want to marry. But if not, then it's okay. But that's the woman that I'm speaking to. That's the woman I'm telling you to identify with. When I say she's cooking and cleaning and doing all these things for herself, that's that woman. That's how she's identified. And some people say, well, that's just some normal stuff. I didn't know that many women were out there cooking and cleaning and were by themselves. I thought most single women would just eat out. Maybe you clean their house, definitely, but definitely didn't pay that much attention to their household because they were a single person. And when you sing, you just do whatever you want to do. But from my understanding now, that single women are definitely taking care of their houses. They're cleaning them up, their apartments or whatever, making sure their credit is good. And because I hear often that women, we have the most debt. But I'm understanding now, I guess that's not true. If we putting everybody in the same box, then maybe we all have the most, all of us don't, we taking care of our credit. We don't have a lot of debt. Which way is it? Do we or do we not? If there are two separate women, let's keep them separate. But if we all alike, then that ain't true. That's all I'm trying to figure out.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
And it comes down to one big question. The question really is, do modern women want to be traditional? Do they want to become traditional?
I would say not. I would say not. See, Trey says all women are modern. That's his point. He feels as though all women are modern.
Well,
but he's entitled to his opinion, though. So
that's true.
And that would be his approach, and I guess that would be how he, his energy that he would give or approach women with. But I have seen so many traditional women in my time. I mean, I could take you somewhere right now that women just adore and will serve men and know exactly what their roles are as wives and want to be wives. Some are virgins, some are not. Some, I ain't gonna go into other things, but anyway, there are a lot of women out there that want to be wives, and they know what their role is, and they can definitely show and be an asset to a good man. Absolutely.
Yeah, you definitely showed some good examples of it too. You talked about people in the standard, the women in the standard. Evidently they want to be wives. I know Simone Biles wanted to be a wife.
How about that? Simone Biles. You see what I'm saying? I think, wasn't Simone, wasn't she adopted?
Yeah, for what I heard,
Yeah.
she was.
She is an outstanding example of what a wife is. No matter what, all these things around her, the fame and the money and all of that, she still is adjusting or has adjusted to saying, I am his wife. You know, there was no ego there. There's so much humility there. It's like, wow, this is perfect. You know, there's no competition there. There's no pushback there. She actually loves and adores this man. You get what I'm saying? That's excellent. I mean, she's a wife. There are a lot of other wives too. There are a lot of them.
Oh, there are lots. Yeah, there are lots of other wives, especially young wives. You know,
Under 30. Yeah, under 30. They're because those two young ladies that were on the standard, they both are under 30. But you know what? One that we're missing is Jedi's wife. You know, he was the one on the standard, but Jedi's wife is also Tamika. I don't know if you remember Tamika or not, but she used to be on the platforms a lot too. But she too, you know, all of them did the work. They did the work, and they're living out a traditional marriage, whether it's in this time or not. Those women are not doing modern things, whatever that looks like. So, you know, but I understand Trey is definitely entitled to his own opinion, you know.
Yeah, everybody is.
Right.
Well, I want to thank you again for letting me put in my 2 cents or whatever it's worth.
Right. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Steele. JG.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? You laughing? Why? JG, what's going on?
I've had this conversation. First of all, Happy New Year to everybody. That's number one.
Thank you.
Number two, I've had this conversation with my godmother earlier.
Really?
My spiritual father. And
earlier today or some other time?
Earlier today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we were having a deep little conversation about healing in our community. That's number one. A lot of us are not healed. And I found this scripture and I wanted to share it with you real quick. Colossians chapter 3, verse 12. And it says, you know, God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, be compassionate, kind-hearted, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience with each other. Are we honestly doing that with each other in today's times? I mean, I think honestly, we're not even treating each other with any compassion at all. And I think if we can't get to the level of respect and love and compassion and humility, a lot of people aren't even humble at all. There was a young lady on Instagram that you know very well. She's Hebrew Israelite, I believe, and she shares how she treats her husband on a daily basis.
Oh yeah, yes. Yeah, she got beat up for it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I know.
She's saying the simple stuff she's doing for her husband, and people are dogging her out for it. And when I told my godmom, my spiritual mother, and my spiritual father what she said, they said, "Well, that's basic. That's basic." And so if we can't even follow the basic things on how to treat each other, how can we even make it to marriage? How can we even make it to marriage? Because I've met women where I'm pulling out the chairs, I'm opening the doors, I'm paying for the whole date. I had a woman basically mock me because I was paying for the whole date because she wasn't healed from what another man had done to her. And that's what I'm saying. We are marrying and dating each other out of trauma. And when you marry and date someone based out of trauma, you're going to have traumatic responses.
Well, you know what? I see exactly what you're talking about. And it is, I know exactly who you're talking about. It is very basic. I don't know exactly what the expectation is in a dating game. Now, listen, I would ask you to let me know because this is how we got here. Trey, I'm gonna continue to say this, not trying to, talk about you, but I'm giving everyone what I'm saying is because you said it. Out of touch. I was told that I was out of touch because I think we should do basics and basics is it. But you should definitely see who I follow, how I move, and have respect for you and myself. Meaning I'm not on the Instagram. I'm not on social media. I don't speak that way. I, like I said, invite you for dinner. I don't ask you for money. Now, see, all these things are things that I have heard that women do in modern times. They want men to pay for their dinners, which is nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't need to be a $300 meal. There's nothing wrong with going to Cheesecake Factory. So you know what I mean? In excess is what I'm saying. Also, these are the things that I hear women talk about. If a man don't do this, he's no good. And I'm saying, hey, listen, y'all just dating. A man shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
So if I'm saying to a woman who wants to be a wife, you got to be modest. You gotta show this man that you're an asset. But then I'm getting from men, that's all they gonna do. They ain't supposed to do nothing else. I'm thinking like, oh, wait a minute. Is there something else that a woman that is dating you supposed to do? Because when you date, that means that we're just seeing each other, maybe having a conversation here and there, but we shouldn't be, muddying the waters with money, like Clement said, late nights together. None of that stuff should be happening because I am preserving myself to get a ring. Understand that. So when someone tells me that's not enough, I'm out of touch to think that. I'm confused by that because that is the standard. And if that is not enough for the man, tell me what is.
Well, I think the reality is like a lot of people on both sides, the men and the women, not just the women, but the men and the women, we have idolized sex and money. We've idolized it. We've idolized it to the point where if her butt ain't big enough, I'm not talking to her. If she ain't got long hair, I'm not talking to her. You know what I mean? Like, if she doesn't have this, I'm not. Same thing with a man. Well, if his thing ain't long enough, I'm not talking to him. If his car ain't big enough, I'm not talking to him. If his bank account ain't big enough, I'm not talking to him. If he's not tall enough, I'm not talking to him. So we have idolized and emphasized heavy on the money and the sex to the point where we've missed a person's character. Then when we get married to them or have kids with them, oh, they crazy. They crazy. Well, you didn't take the time to examine and vet their character. You were examining and vetting their physical and financial attributes, which you missed out on the mental, emotional, spiritual, which is the glue to a healthy foundation in a marriage or relationship.
Okay, so, all right. JG, thank you so very much. We're going to continue to work this out. We're going to continue to have this conversation because I really, really, really want to know. I want to know if this is not enough. If a woman, so JG, I got another question before you go. So you really think this is about sex?
I truly believe that it's money and sex. Yeah. Yeah. Even in churches. I mean, I've met women in church that they've told me, oh yeah, I got to test that thing out. Women in church.
And I hope you ran away.
I
hope you ran away. Oh my goodness. Wow. JG.
Glory to God.
Yeah. You had to, because listen, that sounds like a definite setup to me. Listen, JG, have a good night. Thank you so much for being here. Black, thank you so much for your $2 super chat. In modern times, you either adapt or you die. See, Black, I'm not sure what you mean by that because some people operate in their own reality. They don't tend to do what other people are doing or what's suggested or what looks good. They tend to walk out their own will. You know what I'm saying? So maybe not adapting nor dying, but who knows? Hey, Bolo. I can't hear you. I can hear you. Yes, I can. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm good. How are you, Mr. Boss, doing?
We doing good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I came in on the last part, and I just wanted to address something that the young man before me just said.
JG or the one before him? Oh yeah, JG. Go ahead.
When I was up on the panel, it's about the perspective of the young man, the young woman, and where they're at in their life when it comes to what they're looking for, right? Because a lot of the times we haven't fully developed in our manhood, speaking from a man's perspective, to jump into the pool of being a husband. It takes time for you to mature mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically to put yourself in that pool. A lot of the times we jump into it prematurely before we become that diamond. We don't have intentions, we don't have direction, and most of all, we don't have that relationship with the Father so that we can be that husband that wife needs. And then we have to understand that when you are a husband in the making and you have these pillars that you stand on, you know what to look for in a wife.
Absolutely. Slow down. You're talking way too fast. I need you to slow down and say that all again. But can you make it like in the Cliff Note version? You don't have to say it all again, but give me the Cliff Note. Go ahead.
When you know who you are, you are and what your direction and your relationship is with God, you then know what to look for. And a lot of the times we are such in a rush to get to the destination that it's the journey that prepares you for that destination, and we miss that, right? So what what Dr. Steele was saying to you before and what you were saying to him was so pivotal. And the young man said something that that it's a maturity thing, right? So when you say all women are the same, it's a maturity level. We have to start listening to what people don't say opposed to what they do say and start looking in between. It's like if a man continues to tell you, I'm a man, that's why he's yelling it out the top of the lungs. From a counselor's perspective, to me, it sounds like he's saying, I'm a child, like he has to defend himself being a man, because a man doesn't have to continue to say that. He walks in that power and he builds in that power. So the difference, and you broke it down, the difference between a traditional woman and a modern woman, okay? A traditional woman is able to go into different environments, and she's able to be tumultuous, and she's able to be tenacious enough to go into these environments, do what she needs to do, whether she has 18 PhDs or masters or whatever, and still understand what her goal is. Her goal is to get the spoils and bring it home, and still understand the covenant that she has between Christ, herself, and her husband. A modern woman is locked into herself. And that's the difference. Now, it may look the same, and I give this example a whole lot. From far away, a manic depressive joker and a person that's happy look the same.
They look the same. You're right.
The same from far away, but when you get closer to them and you analyze and you're very analytical and very meticulous in getting to know this guy Joker, you realize that he suffers from disorder type 1. He's bipolar, and you see all these different things opposed to someone being upset and being depressed. Right. I know that I'm upset with SB. Someone depressed, it's a lot deeper than just that. So I'm saying that to say that we need to start getting to know, start getting closer to these women and stop seeing them from far away, getting closer to these men, stop seeing them from far away and making an educated guess. This ain't about educated guess. This is about being assured. When you're in Christ and you're in that walk, you walk circumspectly. Now, what does that mean? That means before that cat puts his damn weight on that ledge, he's making sure that they can hold it. And that's what we need to do. We walk assuredly. We walk boldly. In other words, I'm going to ask you, what is your 5-year plan? Do you want to wife? Do you want to have children? This is what I want to do. This is the thing. So we have to ask these questions. And if she's offended by it, then you know this is not the woman for you. And if he's offended by it, then you know that's not the man for you. We have to understand the one thing that we can never get back is time. It's the one thing we can't get back. So let's stop wasting. Thank you for having me. Love you. God bless you.
So you go, just come in, throw the mic down, and run out, right? That's what you do.
Say happy New Year, everybody. And how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I didn't hear that last part. What did you say?
I said, well, I just wanted to come in and say happy New Year to everybody. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much, Volo. And we will see you soon. Trigger.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening. Happy New Year, sir.
Happy New Year to you.
To you and the family.
Hope your holiday went well.
It did. It did. So listen, I don't know how long you've been listening,
Just
or
got in the house. Just jumped.
just got in the house. Okay, so we're talking about men want modern women to be traditional. What are your thoughts on that? Now, you are a married man. This may not be a question for you, but I'm asking. What do you think?
No, I think it's actually a perfect question because, you know, it's something that I'm coming to grips with trying to answer this question right now.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm 37 years old, but people keep calling me OG.
Okay.
So
Explain
they'll
it.
ask,
Yeah, this is
they'll
good. This is
ask
really
me
good.
questions related to this very topic. And I
Mm-hmm.
think what a lot of men are coming to grips with, especially the men in my age group that aren't married yet, that they are starting to see that, okay, they are dealing with modern women. If they're looking to be married, they need a woman with more traditional values. And for this particular topic, the way the question is phrased, men want modern women to be traditional. It's because they want the women they want. And then while they're with these women, they realize, oh, I can't just mold her into anything. These values have to be practiced. Practice makes habit. She's dismissive. She talks to me disrespectfully. She, doesn't value my presence as a man or my value to the family. Like they really just start to become a man when you really look at it. They start to become a man, understand their own value. They are trying to write out their own legacy, and they realize that the woman is a big part of that. And because they've invested so much time with the modern woman, a lot of men realize that they're at a dead end. So
Wow. Okay, so that makes sense because this all came from. Let me see if Mr. Boss could play this video once more. I want you to see the video, and then we're gonna start over. So per se,
Get some clarity on what are considered to be wifely duties, and also when should a man expect to start seeing some of those things from a woman that he's dealing with.
Wifely duties. I think a woman, as an adult woman who is single, taking care of herself, she's displaying. She keeps her house clean. She keeps her car clean. She keeps her apartment clean, or whatever it is. She's paying her bills. Her credit is good. She's not going into debt. She speaks with respect. She dressed modestly. She cooks for herself, and she is willing to cook one meal per week for that man. But
It's a meal cap.
Right. Okay.
It's a meal cap.
Okay.
he's not her husband.
Okay.
One meal a week, but she's not
go.
washing his clothes.
Okay. Okay.
But he can come over to her house and see how nice and neat her house is. See that her toilet has no ring. Fabuloso. He can come over to her house and see all of this. But he's not her husband. You don't give all of it away.
okay. So Trigger, the reason why I laid this out this way, and this is just a clip from a clip. I said some other stuff too, but I was trying to let everyone know that this is what a traditional woman looks like. You want to know that she can and is willing to do all these things. But as a traditional woman, she's also probably a virgin or celibate. I'm going to say celibate, right? So she's preserving herself. She's not going to, muddy the waters with receiving money, coming over to your house, cleaning it, washing your clothes, because she is not a wife. And I know for a fact, a lot of men are struggling with that in their comments back to me, because it was like, SB, that's all she gonna do. What do you mean? This is a woman that is respectable. This is a woman who dressed modestly. This is not a woman that's on Instagram. This is a woman who is aligning herself with God. She's the woman who's taking the purpose of being a wife seriously. I've said all of these things. So it brought me to the fact that maybe they're saying to me that they want a whole lot more. And I'm thinking, you're not going to get a whole lot more in a dating realm from a traditional woman, because that's not what we're doing.
Well,
So
I think that's the answer from a lot of modern men. And if we really think about it, why do they have this outlook? Why do they have this sense? It's because some of them, or too many, especially if they're black men, were raised by women. They have the mentality of a woman. Like, I need a lot more, or I'm just going to put it out there. They're talking about sexually. They're talking about all the things that they tend to get in the dating game, but that's not the way the game is actually supposed to be played. If you're trying to play it for marriage, it's supposed to be a courting game. You are supposed to understand a woman's value up front, because men and women can benefit from understanding that if a man wants to be around you and you're not having sex with him, oh snap, You see what I'm saying? What like I live in Houston, Texas. There's nothing but pretty women out here. If I was single looking for a woman be like, oh, when I was dating out here, when I first got out here, flipping their hair, talking about I'm pretty, you're not gonna find a better. I'm like, lady, look around. There's nothing but pretty women out here. What else do you have? What else you got? Right? That's the type of stuff I was on. So a lot of men need to understand that these, well, they'll grow up into men and say, why aren't you? They didn't vet properly in the beginning. Why aren't you cooking? Why aren't you cleaning? And they realize this is not, you don't marry your wife, rather. It's not just for you. She's a representative of your family, and she is the mother of your children. That same woman that doesn't cook, doesn't keep a clean house, how does that affect your children? Your children are now obese by the age of 5 because she doesn't cook and expects you to bring home food loaded with monosaccharides and saturated fat every night. You see, so men need to understand, we need to get back to the basics of family, where the men that know and were raised traditionally are teaching men this is the value of a woman, not those pants you saw on Instagram, because really it's a brain. It's messing with a lot of people's brain. Even like they say, the corn industry right now is turning people. It's messing with your brain. You see everything that entices you sexually up front. So because they're speaking to that part of you so naturally, right? You see naked booty, you're immediately aroused. So it draws you to that woman, and then you think that's what makes you attracted to that woman over time. No, those relationships always fail because that's what they're based off of. If you love a woman substantially, based off her substantive qualities, you will realize that woman, and you can fall in love with her over and over again. Her value is immense. It doesn't go away. She just keeps getting better. It's like fine wine, as we say, right? So dudes got to be taught to realize these things. But if we don't teach them, life is going to teach them ultimately.
Okay, so you made an outstanding point. So, because what they are fearful of is that she's lying. It's all fake. You know, she's not really that woman who cooks and cleans. She's just doing it, you know, for a time to trick you and get you to marry her, what have you. And I'm saying to him, no, see, I don't understand. That's not how it goes. There's a way. If you are in a good position, you can discern all of that. Put that time in with this woman. You can tell who she is versus some woman that is playing a game. So speak on that. Because like you said, if they don't learn it, life will teach them. We don't want life to teach anybody this, because this could actually be detrimental.
Absolutely.
Choosing the wrong woman. I mean, you know, marrying the wrong woman could be very, very detrimental. So what should they be taught?
So
What
I
would you
do
teach?
believe that, I do believe there's a lot of faking it around here. So dudes probably have heard a lot of war stories about how a woman did that. A lot of their homies that are married have reported to them like, yo, she just switched up. So, but I do attribute that to one key thing. That is a terrible behavior being practiced by modern men and modern women. You kept your family out of the relationship the entire time. You really just ignored the entire courting process and decided to make your mind up based off of superficial characteristics. And that's how you end up in that rut as a man in the courting phase. And even if you don't implement it totally, you need to implement it partially. You need to be involved in meeting someone's family. If you really trying to get with this woman, but you don't know how her mother behaves, and y'all been together 6 months, that is a party foul on the play. You haven't met a relative. You haven't been that. When you say the word family, think about someone in their element. Or there is no other proven test or something. That is someone in their element.
Trey, listen, trigger. Trey is saying another person that is officially out of touch. He says that I'm out of touch. So now he's saying that you're out of touch too. Two married people, we're out of touch.
Trey just here. But no, he's gonna listen one day. He's gonna listen one day.
Okay,
he's
but
not
listen,
trying to get married. That's why he said.
Oh, that could be the case. Yeah, maybe he's not. But you're right about this. But I want everyone to understand that there is a modern woman. I've never actually recorded a modern man, because most men I always talk to always speak of traditional values. So when you say modern man, that kind of took me by surprise just a bit. I mean, you know, I'm not sure what that actually looks like. But because every man I talk to always talk about, traditional values. They want to be the leader. They're not interested in a partnership. But I'm assuming it does exist. But I do want to mention when we are looking for our mates, we do have to take it slow. Bolo just said it. We need to put in time. You can't just judge one thing that this person does or don't do, or, assume that, again, like she may just only be cleaning the house because you're coming over. Because I agree with that. We have a lot of fakers. That is so true. And I've even given some clues to that fakeness. Go check a trunk, because women, we hide stuff in places where we think nobody's looking. But again, if her conversation, if her mentality, the way she thinks, if her mindset also seems like a wife or reflects someone that you can build with, then that's someone that you want to actually entertain as being a wife, in my opinion. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. Mindset is everything. And the vetting process for men is hard. So if we're going to talk about it realistically, when I say, and to the point where I say the term modern men, I'm talking more not so much about their thoughts, but their behaviors. Their behaviors will prove them to be modern men. If you can't vet a woman without sex, you're a modern man. That basically, to put it that way. If
Wait
you're
a
not
minute.
willing, yep,
How do you vet a woman with sex?
that modern man logic. That is how they do it. They allow their judgment to be clouded because that is what they're seeking first and foremost in any interaction with a woman. In fact, the women that I've done it too, as a man that was dating, the women that we keep around most, that are in our in our rotation the most, are the ones that are putting out. Okay, so what it does is accidentally diminishes the value of the women who have substantive qualities, but they're not putting out. So that is the logic of the modern man. Yeah.
Okay, but I've always heard that we'll have sex with one, but we wouldn't marry her. How does that play in that? We'll have
It
sex
plays,
with one woman,
yep.
but we wouldn't marry her. So what are we vetting if we're just having sex?
So I think sex clouds the judgment, right? So this is the mistake that I made in the past. While we're getting to know each other, somewhere down the line, we have sex. Now I stop asking all the important questions.
Oh, I got you.
And I get in some kind of fake pseudo relationship just to keep sex going.
So what if she resisted the sex from you? Would you consider her off limits, or would you say this woman I'm setting her apart? She's different. How would you view that?
You haven't fully matured yet. So I've never done that personally to a woman. And in fact, the woman, so I say there's really two, maybe three, but really two women that were like super wife material, and I almost missed my blessing. And people are right. You only get a few of those. If you let them go, that's probably it. She told me straight up, listen, oh my goodness. She's like, I'm so glad we're dating, but I can't. I just really can't. And I don't want you to think that it's because, but it made me more intrigued. And like I said before, if I can find a reason to be around her without sex, then I actually really like her. I really like her.
I like
So yeah, what it does is it takes away all the BS. Well, he's not coming around no more. Don't try to make him come around. It's because you're not putting out. He doesn't find you interesting. He doesn't have anything in common with you to make him want to ask for another date or solicit your company for any reason. So leave it at that, right? So
I like that. That's one way of looking at it, because again, I do tell ladies to preserve themselves. They need to wait for the ring, because it's just too, like you said, it just clouds the judgment. The questions are not being asked. The ladies get in these relationships where they think that they're being loved, and the man hasn't thought about that not one time, and then they give themselves over and the relationship's end. And then they're saying it's the man's fault, but they played a huge role in it. And here we go now with more trauma. So if you really want to be a wife and you are wanting to date with intentions, you don't have sex. You preserve yourself. Simple as that. You just wait until it's time. You celibate, and then you just wait. What's wrong?
And I don't have a chart to quantify this, but if you look at the expediency, like how fast men get married to a woman that wasn't have. There's a strong
Very bad.
correlation.
Yeah.
Strong correlation there.
Yeah.
She
It's very,
wasn't giving out. All of a sudden, 8 months later,
they get married.
rice being thrown. It was like, oh,
This is very true. I think Simone and her husband got married very fast. Actually, they had 2 weddings. We did one, they said, at the city hall, and then another one in Mexico. They got married quick.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
some
that is
reason,
so true.
those
'Cause guess
men
what?
figure things out very fast.
Figure it out. Listen, we ain't playing. I'm not gonna play with you. This is true. This is true. But I don't know if that's the case all the time, because some
Not all the
say, it's best to know your mate through all seasons. I don't know. I didn't do that, of course, and it just worked out. But again, I was in it for life. I'm in it for life. That's how it is. So this is interesting though, because again, I'm trying to make sure that there are women out there that want to be wives, to have the tools that they need. And I want them to be able to walk it completely out, not necessarily give in to the modern terms or the modern time and forget the principles and all these things that they are working on to become that wife. They don't want them to be off purpose. I don't want them to be like, you know what, I'm gonna have to wear this short skirt to get attention. They know who they are. They need to know who they are. They don't need to have this validation from random men or any man. They need to know exactly who they are and what they want to be. And that is what I'm demonstrating while I'm saying this. Oh, this is what this woman is demonstrating when I say she does all of these things. And, just to hear that that's not enough, I'm thinking, what? So we don't really want wives anymore? What is it that we want? What are we wanting?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I want, like, listening to men, and it's going to take longer. That's why in this age group, we seem like we're talking to women more. It's going to take longer for the men who aren't married, like Trey. It's going to take longer for him to realize, damn, as you continue to just knock off random women and find no substance in them, you realize we're actually doing ourselves a disservice. All of my homies, frat brothers that I know that are like that they're still single, maybe into their 40s and beyond. Now what you realize is every woman is a slut to you. You don't know who you can trust because you've had your way, and that's not the truth. But now, because you had a married woman over here, a engaged woman over there, this woman coming doing all type of weird stuff and went back to her man, you just don't trust any woman. So, we do ourselves a big disservice that way. Most men don't make it to 40 without a baby, if you're sexually active. So, it's more about wanting to take control of your own domain. So when people ask me, what was so attractive about marriage to me? I wanted to be in control and influence my children. The scariest thing on earth to me was having to text a baby mama to see my kids. I would never, I couldn't. That was the scariest thing on earth to me.
It is very scary to think that you may not be able to have a relationship with your child.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very scary. But, sometimes you don't think about these things when you're just going through life. You're not making sound decisions. You're just living, per se. And when your life gets to have a little bit more purpose, and intent, then things start to make sense. And then you realize how many things you've done wrong. And that's what I call dysfunction. So guess what? You no longer have to live in your dysfunction anymore. So you definitely should go try to make those things right. But it's hard to do sometimes because not everybody's going to allow you to do that, because things have been done. People have been traumatized, per se, and things have happened. But you got to do your best at trying to make it right. No longer living in dysfunction, and whatever you got to do to get out of it, that's what you should do. But again, like you said, that comes with age, wisdom, knowledge. But to continue to do the same things over and over again, that doesn't make sense to me. So I get it. So anyway, thank you so much, Trigger. You got something else you want to add to this? And you reading the comments. You got something else you want to add to this situation? Because I appreciate the fact that you're coming and are speaking to the men. Do you get these questions a lot on your channel? Because somebody else just came up a minute ago.
Well,
JG.
Most of them come from Trey, ironically.
Really?
Well, yeah, he's always giving me stuff about these topics, but we'll teach him. He'll come around one day.
I don't
He's still
know.
mad at his baby mama. That's what it is. He's still mad at her. Yeah, Trey.
He
I
mad at
called
his baby mama.
he yelling at her through us.
What's wrong? I don't think he mad at his baby mama. I wanted to get to the part of, being out of touch, because I'm talking about a traditional person. What is it? Should I know?
You know what? In a way, so in the dating game, so remember, I don't believe that we are creatures of the dating game at all, because I willfully shut down my whole experience to commit to my wife, then get married. So we aren't creatures of that. He is. So in a sense, he's correct. He is more of the subject matter expert on today's dating realm. It is something I probably wouldn't recognize myself or the people that are in it if I was in today's dating game. But we are staunch traditionalists, and we are more of the court connoisseurs. We are the courting subject matter experts. So, when we talk about dating, that's where he's saying we're out of touch. And to some extent, he has a point, but we're also talking from the angle of what it should be, not what it is.
Well,
Right
I'm only speaking from the angle of finding a wife. So, I mean, I'm only speaking from the angle of finding a wife, a traditional wife, a woman that wants to be a wife, not somebody that's playing the game, just a woman that wants to be a wife. How you date, how you come up on that, how many, if you find her on an app, whatever the situation is, what we call in dating, which I'm not sure what that is, doesn't really matter to me. I'm just trying to actually tell men and women, this is what a wife looks like. If this is what you want to do, this is what you need to look like. This is what your study should be. Ladies, you need to align yourself, do this, this, and this. Men, this is what you should look for. That's it for me.
You know why you get so much pushback on that from the men, or being called out of touch? I just realized it. Because they have no idea where to find one of these women. So what he's really saying is, that's not the way women are. That's what he's yelling. That's not. Where do you find that? That's not who we got out here. That's not who we're dating. That's not who we come across. So I've heard that many, many times. And the worst part is that even the women that were raised that way, that had that as an example, they're at a crossroads and they are deciding to align themselves, at least in the mainstream, with the modern women. They know they have all the traditional values, but they're like, it gets me more likes to put these risque pictures on Instagram.
Okay, but that's what makes her not traditional, because that's one of the things. You don't spend your life on Instagram or any social media. So I understand that too. And you wouldn't find these women out there. You're not. You would actually have to change who you are in order to find that woman. You would have to change where you go, how you move as a man to find that woman. You actually would. And like I say often, this woman comes by referrals. It's not like, you could just, I don't believe in going, you living in Texas and you finding her in North Carolina. I wouldn't trust anything like that. This is somebody that knows you, that knows her, or something of that nature. I've never, ever said go to church and find her, because I don't believe in that either. But this is not going to be the woman that is out there. It is not.
It's not.
It is not.
We did I'm sorry, we were on my show talking about something, and I played a clip of this just one random woman on the street on vacation. The way she was answering questions, all the dude was like, "Where is she at? Oh my God." Just a traditional, no, I believe marriage and the man is the head of it. You should have seen the way the men went crazy. And just like you said, I know so many of these women, but I know where to look. I position myself in a way to find them, and this is the part we never talk about. They will actually find you when you position yourself in a certain way. They will find you,
or they will present themselves. I say it that way. They will present themselves. Yeah, they absolutely will.
Well, interestingly enough, I started positioning myself as a husband right before, while I was in a committed relationship. So it was funny. So all the women just like, oh, he's so responsible. Look at him just applying for all these high level positions. Oh, he got one of those positions. He wearing a suit. Like, you see. So they tend to find you when you position yourself.
Oh,
like
he opening a door, but not verbally saying it, but just paying attention to all those things that you're doing. It happens. I've seen it. I see it all the time. So again, they're not going to be the women that are out here. They're not going to be the women all over social media. Because again, that's not going to be the woman that you want, because she is not going to be a wife at that time. But listen, Clement wanted me to ask you a question. Clement, let me read your super chat first, then I'll go back and ask Trigger the question. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat. He says, what's wrong with talking to wives about staying married, SB, since you are married for all the marriages that happening? There's plenty more struggling. I would love to talk to women about being married, that are married, to stay married. You know, that's what I say. Absolutely. So if you know a woman that is willing to speak with me and she wants me to listen to what she's saying about her marriage and she's fighting for her marriage, I would absolutely love to talk to her. So you know I'm open to that completely. But Clement, your other question. Trigger, he wants to know, I said this woman that is a wife, she will cook for this man that she's dating once a week and she will invite him over. He wants to know what's your opinion about that.
I think that's very modern. I think men now, if I'm just gonna say that now, men got to protect themselves and behind closed doors with women. I would suggest if a woman is on good terms with her family, there's no reason he can't come over and break bread with you and your people. That meal you can cook at your mom and daddy's house.
You absolutely could too, but I think that this woman I'm speaking of is disciplined enough that to offer you dinner. The whole concept was she knows how to cook and she cooks and she's willing to invite you up.
So that goes against, so the disciplined woman can do that. The one that's been vetted and you've been talking, and it's also better when you've known each other. That's why I say people should, I tell women their future husband is in their past. This is a man that you've known since.
Remember,
however, you know his character.
referral.
He is highly recommended, highly referenced. Even your daddy like him, like that type of man. Yeah, that man you can do that for. But it also goes against one of my prime directives for women, which is do not occupy intimate spaces with men. If y'all aren't married, because there is no time in history I've ever gone to a woman's house and them drawers didn't come off. So that, that's why I'm like,
you've never been to your wife, girlfriend at the time's house and y'all didn't have sex. Come on, Trigger.
It didn't happen till way later. I was gonna say dang near. Well, we were together, officially at the time, but nope.
No, I'm talking about dating. I mean, in the beginning, dating. This is just a man identifying duties of a wife. I'm not talking about they're committed now and
so
courting.
that is probably the divide. So in the courting phase, that's what's supposed to be happening, because you know what type of time y'all have been on. A man who understands up front that he's not getting that.
Exactly.
He's not presumptuous in the dating game. Once, like, you can watch the chat. Trey will tell you if he's in there. Once a woman say, "Come to my house," a dude already know what time it is. So that's
two different people. Then that's two different people. I got you. I got you.
So exactly, a woman that comes highly vetted, highly recommended. Both of you, and this is where the spiritual part comes in. Both of you have talked about, no, there is no sex before marriage. We're going to do this the right way. All of that, absolutely, you could do it. But if y'all haven't talked about that and there is no spirituality and whatever bond y'all are trying to build, oh yeah, some draws are dropping that night.
No, there was always a alignment with God. So that was always there. So Clement, I hope we answered your question. It all depends on timing of the relationship and the intentions initially. So I hope that answered the question. I think it did. But thank you so much, Trigger, for coming up. I appreciate you so much. You definitely come back and speak to our men for us. And I just love to hear that man's side, because the women, we have a place that we're supposed to be in, and it's not a loose place. SB, even if you know and you are disciplined, is capable of still listen, anything can happen. Come on, Clement. Let's please not be extreme. We understand that anything can happen between a man and a woman. I'm not saying that, but I'm telling you, a woman that is interested in being your wife and we're just dating, this is at the initial, because that was the question. we're just dating. She is going to be intentional and purposeful with what she is doing, and there is no sex. She basically just wanted you to know that she was able to cook, because that is a very important thing when you are running a home. Now, if you don't understand that, Clement, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am sorry. But listen, thank you so much, Trigger. Thank you. Brown Eyes. Hello, my dear. Listen, I want to say congratulations, but I'm not sure if the baby's actually here or if this is even a good time. But if she's here, congratulations. And it's good to see you. It definitely is. Listen, we've been here now over 2 hours. Y'all done had me talking to you all for 2 hours. Oh my God. Oh, Black, you older than Mike, and what? You don't believe what he's saying? She's here. Congratulations. It is so good to see you. I hope all is well. Thank you so much for being here. We miss you, but we are so glad that you're back. Oh, we are so glad that you're back. She can still what? She can still do that with people around. Clipping you sup, Bells. Listen, at some point in time, I'm just going to say it like this. I talked to Miss M through comments earlier today, and it was one thing that we agreed upon. And that one thing was being married is a very grown up thing to do. Very mature and very grown up. And if you're not ready to do that, because it requires a lot. It requires discipline. It requires structure, all of those things, morals, all of self-control. You got to have self-control because you got to take that into the marriage. If you can't do these things, y'all, please leave marriage alone. Leave marriage alone until you're ready, y'all, because you don't want no excuses and you want to be married for life. So thank you guys so much of you, all of you that have come to the comment section, that have actually came up. I appreciate you so much. But before we go, I want to put this out there to you all one more time. Daily Wrap-Up crew, Jew, podcast Jew. I mentioned at the beginning of the show that Jew was in a, some sort of situation where he was shot. He was shot several times. If my understanding is correct, he was shot in the head and arms. He is now in intensive care. And this is his GoFundMe. If you want the information to GoFundMe, it's in my description underneath the video. Again, y'all, this was a sad situation. If y'all don't remember Jew, he's a part of Daily Wrap-Up crew. Y'all know they've been on our show once or twice. I can't remember, but Ace himself was on I Choose You. And y'all know they have an outstanding platform. They're out of New York. They always have the girls on there, and the girls be exciting, y'all. I'm just telling you. But anyway, he is in a very bad situation. So if you all want to help, go over to his GoFundMe and just give what you can. But we definitely want to pray for him and pray for him to be healed and make 100% recovery. They said it was senseless gun battle. I don't know if it was a gun battle. I shouldn't say that. It was a senseless situation, but he definitely got shot several times, y'all. We'll hope the situation works out.
I can't stay.
Mr. Gilbert, I like that. So anyway, guys, listen. Y'all have a good night, and I will see. Listen, no, today's Thursday. Y'all have an excellent weekend, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. Bye-bye.
No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road. I can't sit still for a minute. I'm so dead set on indifference. Keep it Charlie, stay down with them Dickens. Let's get around like it's the 80s, right? Round, let's keep spinning. Let's keep playing these games that we don't want to finish. And I'm sorry if that sounds a bit bitter, but I am to the core. You want the whole damn thing, then you ask him for more. You want that old jive swing, you take up all of the floor. I'm fine with standing at the edge of the door. You be the life of the party, I blend in with the core. You drink it all to Bacardi till the bottle's no more. Let's take it back before this started. You want the love, I don't got it. Got my soul on the road. You screaming stay, please don't go. Don't think it's in me to listen to foe. It's so different, we distance, we roam into zones where nothing get hurt anymore. I just wish I was home when I stepped through front door, but instead I'm alone and completely unsure. And even though you're screaming out with the best of intentions, I don't get it. Why do you always gotta ask me to stay? Why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. Say, why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road.
See, I've been lost in my thoughts, and my thoughts they too scared to usher off. Sorry, Mom, I just thought you were my world. Now you're not. And I'm just sitting, smoking, sloping in the days, cause my days ain't been the same since I drove here. I remember the way you wrote letters in blue ink. You and me was in love. Think about what your crew think. I know your moms probably think I'm a bastard. Your pops probably want to beat my death and take a in my casket. But I got sick of fighting, bickering, fussing over nothing, cussing. Instead of watching the death of discussions that we once had, days that we once spent in the backseat of our cars, reading poets at sunset. It's funny how love can fall out the foreground, get pushed into the back of your mind. We used to twist a spliff and laugh and relax. Are you crying? And I'm trying to find the reasons, so I ask, does forever ever happen, or is it always fade to black?
I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road. I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road.